Preparing the live stream.
Okay, sounds good. No, it's the
Okay, setting up the meeting on YouTube Live. We're going to be live here.
virtual marketing session.
Okay, we are live on YouTube. I want to thank you guys for your patience. My name is Tim Woda, and I'm the CEO of White Peak, and we are trying to do a live broadcast and ran into some technical difficulties. So appreciate your patience. I am with our co-host, Shannon Benetti from Crossover Communications. How are you, Shannon?
I'm good. How are you, Tim?
I'm good. Are you getting used to this new world of working out of the home and dealing with family and dogs?
The new normal. Yeah, I was set up in the front office and my Wi-Fi was cutting in and out. So then I moved out here. Now my dogs are going crazy, but new normal, huh?
The new normal is nothing normal at all. So that's cool. That's great. Well, what we're going to talk about today, so we are doing this new series over at least the next few weeks. Shannon and I and our teams are going to be coming on here every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 o'clock. And we're going to be talking about marketing in a slow economy. So there's no secret that things have slowed down a little bit or a lot in some cases, and it requires some adjustments. If not on a long-term basis, certainly on an interim basis. And so today's focus is on public relations, which Shannon is a guru at. And so Shannon, why don't you take a moment before we get started and just tell everybody about your background and Crossover Communications and why people should be listening to what you have to say on this topic.
Sure, thank you so much. So I started my company Crossover Communications about 2 years ago. It's a PR, marketing, and social media consulting company. Prior to that, I worked in television news, both here in Reno and in Vegas. I was in TV broadcasting for about 9 years. So I have a lot of experience with pitching stories. I have a lot of great connections all throughout the state, which has been really helpful in starting my business. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
That's great. And tell us about who your typical client is. Like, what types of companies do you work with?
So I love working with companies of all different sizes, but I feel like my specialty is really small businesses, companies that are just getting started out. There's something about their passion, their excitement, and their drive that I just really love working with small business owners. I would say a majority of my clients are small business. There are a couple of clients that I have that are more per project based, which I'll kind of get into that a little bit later when we're talking about PR and pricing, because a lot of people think in order to have good PR, it has to be really expensive, and that's not always the case.
Yeah, so that leads me to just the obvious question, which as a small business owner, their natural reaction is, do I need to hire somebody? Can't I do this on my own? I'm a creative, smart person.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have come in contact with us, especially during this whole Corona outbreak situation, where people ask the question, do I really need to hire someone? Do I need an agency? Would a consultant be a good option? I can tell you consultants are a lot cheaper than agencies. Effective PR doesn't have to be expensive PR. As I was saying, there are consultants that offer per project pricing. There are consultants that do discounts, especially during difficult times, but just do your research, make sure you know what the consultant can offer you. And if you think that you can do PR on your own, I will tell you, it involves strategy. There's a lot more that goes into PR than just calling up a news station and saying, hey, can you cover this story, or can you talk and feature my business? Working with a professional who has fostered relationships in the community is so important, because it ensures long-term success. It isn't about just being on the news one time. It's not about just appearing in a magazine one time. It's about continued coverage, and I don't want you to go out it alone. So don't try and do this on your own.
Yeah, so if I'm a typical small business, I'm obviously not as familiar with even the concept of PR, let alone the details and the tactics that you employ. So my perception of PR as a small business owner may be that why would anyone care about my business, right? If I'm a small business, what is it that I have to offer? I might struggle with coming up with ideas that media would even care about? Like, how would I go about figuring those things out?
So that's where I come in. That's my job. Collaborations, giveaways, campaigns, outreach. There's a number of ways to generate PR. And it's important we position you as the expert in what you do, especially right now. This will ensure that when the whole mess passes, that people still remember you, that you're still relevant, that you're top of mind. The fact of the matter is you're likely doing something already that would generate great PR. You just don't know it. So people will remember how you handled yourself during this time. Let the professional come in, let them kind of dig through what you're already doing in your office, kind of give you some advice to get you through these tough times, and then we'll find a way to approach the media and get you that coverage that you deserve.
Can you give us an example of, especially during this specific time, right? So this COVID-19 mayhem, can you give us an example of maybe what type of PR a small business that you're working with has done or is working towards?
Sure. So one thing that I always encourage my businesses, my clients is to do, is create videos. And I know that sounds super obvious, but it's extremely important right now to reestablish a face-to-face connection with your customers. If they don't see you, they forget about you, and you have to stay top of mind. Another thing that's really important to do is over communicate, because people are craving information right now. We want to see what you're doing behind the scenes, and you need to stay, again, top of mind. We want to know what your business is doing to stay afloat and serve others. That's a great way to generate PR, is to serve the community. If you are a restaurant out there and you're giving away free meals to first responders or to medical staff, we want to know about it. Eventually, a lot of restaurants, it will become kind of a saturated thing that too many people are doing the same thing, so it won't necessarily generate the same kind of response from the media. But if you're doing something different that stands out, we want to know about it, and we want to be able to pitch that, and we want to highlight what you're doing. So every company is different. Bigger companies can obviously do a lot more. There's a company I just read about the other day that's been sewing masks, medical masks for the hospital staff. That's something huge that we can highlight. There's a smaller business I know that just, opened up. It's a brand new pizza company in town. I think it's really cool what they're doing. They're sending pizzas out to random households, and then they're saying, take a picture, tag us in it, and tell us what you thought about this free meal and what you thought about the pizza. And that's a great way to collaborate with consumers and to tap into their audience on their social media and their followers. So there's a number of different ways you can generate PR, and it doesn't always have to be this grand gesture.
Yeah.
There's stuff that we can do that's on a smaller scale that will really get your business up and moving.
I think that's interesting that you mentioned that about tapping into your customers or the public's audience as well. In real estate, there's that saying, location, location, location. In marketing and PR, it's about the audience. It's audience, audience, audience. And so part of what you and I have talked about is the importance of targeting specific audiences during this time. Knowing who you're going after. Can you talk a little bit about if I'm watching this and I am kind of frazzled right now, what are some things that I can be doing specific to my audience targeting? What should I be thinking about? How should I be approaching this that'll help me do some of these things that you're talking about?
Sure. So there's a lot of people out there that may already have an established audience that they have zero in on, that they know that this is the group we're trying to reach day to day. But that may have changed from just a few weeks ago. Now that we're in a totally different situation, uncharted territory, people have never dealt with this sort of pandemic situation before. You need to zero in on a medium that fits your new target audience, whether that be social media, broadcast news, print publications. People are moving to different mediums to get their information. A lot of people are sitting at home tuning into the news. Maybe we allocate some of your funds that you would be spending, like boosting ads or buying certain things, and put that towards a news segment or put it towards a print publication, because a lot of people are going online to get their information, to read their news. So there's a number of different ways that you can tap into a new audience. And like I said, tapping into your consumers' audience is really important as well. We can talk a little bit more in collaborations on that. And that's one of the actionable items that I wanted to get to today was there are things that you can do from home that are completely free that can help you grow your business during this difficult time.
Yes, let's talk about that. What are some of these very specific action items?
So I was thinking about this yesterday. There's 3 things that I would do from home right now. Number 1, network. There are a number of professional networking groups that are transitioning online right now because it's the only way to get things done. So go online, find a group that fits your needs. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them through business networking, professional sites. There's all different ways to find these groups. You can even start your own group if you're interested in starting a group of small business owners like yourself, okay? Go on network, introduce yourself. This is super important. Don't be shy right now. And networking is a great way to find out what you can help others with as well. And again, serving others is where you're going to generate PR. You have to kind of adapt this attitude that the consumer always comes first and the others come first, even though I know there's a time of panic right now and a lot of fear. If you have a tone of fear and if you give off that energy, it's not gonna come back to you in a beneficial way. People are gonna pick up on that. So don't be afraid to speak up, yourself, get to know others in our community. And like I always say, people don't buy from your business because they like your product or food. There might be some people that do, but a majority of people will buy from you because they like you as a business owner. So get to know other people in the community, let them get to know you, and I promise you'll have great results. The second thing I want to talk about is collaborating. We talked a little bit about this earlier. There is power in numbers. Team up with other business owners, other nonprofits, find ways you can support them and they can support you. It'll help you save money, it'll help you save resources, and it can broaden your audience because you can tap into their followers, they can tap into yours. And some of the most successful collaborations are with people who have different skill sets. A lot of people think they have to collaborate with people who are in the same industry. That's not the case. You can go outside of your industry and collaborate with people who have different, perspectives on things, even again, collaborate with the consumer. So those are all great ways to kind of tap into new people at this time. Lastly, I know this is something that you guys always stress at White Peak, but encourage reviews. Reply to every review that you've gotten as well. Now's a good time to reach out to people that you've done business with in the past and say, hey, would you mind just leaving me a quick review telling me about your experience working with me? This includes Facebook, Yelp, Google My Business. Reach out to people and ask them if they have the time to kind of leave a review. 95% of online shoppers will review reviews. They want to do that before making a purchase. It builds credibility for your company and it gives you a chance to kind of get some honest feedback about your company, and it'll boost your visibility and your SEO, I'm sure, as you know.
Yeah, Shannon, I would want to share a really kind of real-time story around reviews that we at White Peak have just seen this week. And I won't name the business because I don't have their permission, but we are running an ad campaign for a local business in Reno, and they started their campaign in February, beginning of February, end of January. And what was really interesting is that through February, things were going so well with this company. For every $1 they spent, they were literally making $13 in sales. So it was, imagine they wanted to give us as many $1 as they could, right? Because give me one, I'll give you 13 is a pretty good campaign. The first 2 weeks of March, when really this coronavirus thing hit the news, their numbers plummeted. They went down to just under $4 return. So like overnight, they went from 1 to 13 ratio to a 1 to 4 ratio. And about week 2, we said to them, listen, right now you need to double down on your reviews. You need to implement a review technology on your website, go to every one of your customers that you've ever had and get them to review your products, because you're getting traffic. People just aren't converting because they're afraid, they're uncertain. What was really interesting is that it took them a couple of days to get that implemented. And in the last 2 weeks of March, the same campaign with the same news stories that are scaring the bejeebers out of everybody, that same business went to a ratio of for every $1 that they would spend, they would make just under $12. And so the only thing that changed was, even though the news got worse, their reviews got better, and that helped push their conversion rate up. And it was, so I couldn't be a bigger advocate of businesses right now taking this slow time to get reviews from their customers. So definitely.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to reach out to those people that you know had a positive experience. It's only going to, boost your everything. I mean, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so in the last couple of minutes, I know we got started late due to some technology glitches, but when we think about PR, sometimes when things get tough, this is the third recession that I've run a business through. And, the first thing that you do is you check your liquidity, right? You make sure that you've got money to pay the bills, that you're going to be around. But kind of right after that, people start thinking about what they can do without. Okay. Sometimes marketing and PR, gets up there for discussion around, being on the chopping block. What would you say to a business owner right now who's fighting for their survival, right? They're literally just trying to make sure they're around in April and May and June. What would you say to them about how they should really view PR and marketing during this season? And I know you're biased. I'm biased too, but
Yeah.
still,
So that's a
we
great
have some
question.
experience.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important that people don't stop their PR and marketing right now. I know, like you said, it might seem like somewhat of a luxury item or something that people think that they may not need. But PR professionals are trained in crisis management. We do this for a living. We will weather the storm and get you through this. We will re-strategize and think about ways to keep you top of mind to the consumer. A lot of people are also cutting back on advertising right now. Not a good idea. Maybe they have a commercial that runs, or a commercial that runs on the radio. Don't cut your advertising, because when all of this mess passes, you still need to be relevant and you still need to be top of mind. And if there's a way we can re-strategize that and work within your budget, I mean, a lot of companies right now are doing what they can to work within a budget for small business owners, because all know that everyone's struggling, everyone's impacted. But do not cut your PR and do not cut your marketing by any means. When all this passes, you just need to have a strong, stable message. It takes time to build up a reputation and to manage that. And if you cut it, it's going to take quite long to build back up. Not to mention the influx of business once all this passes. There will be people that want to get into marketing and get into PR and say, now's the time that I need to fix this and that, or fix my image, or maybe I didn't handle this crisis well and I lost a lot of money and now I need to kind of redo this whole thing. Well, those professionals that were available to you during this time, this pandemic, may not be available to you then. So take advantage of your resources that are available now, continue on with your messaging, continue on with your PR and marketing, and just kind of reevaluate where you can spend your money and stay the course.
Yeah, I think about it as the standpoint of taking ground in a battle, right? If you are out there, if you're a mattress store, there's a lot of other mattress stores out there that have been fighting tooth and nail for customer attention and digital attention, right? So the space that they have online, but as they turn off marketing, turn off PR, they're ceding ground to their competitors who might have stayed the course. I've mentioned this before. Warren Buffett once said, be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful. And that's because that's when there's opportunity to take ground. And so we are out of time, but here's what, if you have questions, we would love to answer those questions for you. And so you can go on to the White Peak Facebook page. You can find us pretty easily on Facebook. We are, White Peak _ IO. And yeah, let us know what questions you have. Shannon and I will be happy to answer those for you. We're going to be back on Thursday with some information specifically focused on social media and social advertising. And so we look forward to talking to you then. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you. See you later.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Later.